Hello everyone, welcome to my channel LearnIT. Today I will be talking about UI policy. What is UI policy? UI policy scripts use the client-side API to execute script logic based on whether the UI policy condition tests true or false. Use UI policy scripts to create complex conditional checks or to take actions rather than setting field attributes like mandatory, read-only or visible. So what behavior does UI policy provides? It defines the behavior and visibility of fields on a form like mandatory, visible, read-only. So condition must be true for it to be executed and it executes after client script. Okay, why it is like? Because client script and UI policy both are executed on client side, that is on web browser. Okay, here you can see there is a baseline incident form which is displayed here, and after displaying the form, UI policy executes. Number is read only, configuration item is mandatory, priority is not visible. As you can see, number is not read only here, but it is read only here. Configuration item is not mandatory, but here it is a mandatory field. Okay, and here you can see priority is visible, but here it is not visible. Okay, these things can be done using UI policy. Okay, so let's move further and see what is UI policy scripting. So we can write a script complex conditions and execute advanced behavior in UI policy, such as show hide sections, remove, add, change, validate data in fields, use the power of JavaScript as part of UI policy. Okay, so next, UI policy execution. So how UI policy executes? So trigger specifies when to execute UI policy actions or scripts. Okay, every field in the record can be evaluated even if it is not visible on the form. Okay, UI policy do not have a name field. We are using a short description field as a pseudo name. Not all UI policies require scripting. Okay, so let's move further and see UI policy trigger when to apply section. So UI policies execute based on evaluation of conditions. Build conditions with the condition builder rather than scripting for better performance. If left blank, the UI policy logic always executes when the form loads. Okay, as you can see here, when to apply condition, when to apply tab, we are having a condition builder here, and we can see some condition is applied. Assignment group is network, state is one of new or in progress. Okay, and here you can see global checkbox, apply the UI policy action when the form is loaded. When the user changes on the form, we can check this as well. Reverse the effect of UI policy actions when the condition evaluates to false. Reverse if false. So this is also used very frequently, UI policy. Okay, so let's move further and see on scripting tab what we can do in scripting tab. So if run script is selected, we can write a script to be executed on certain conditions which evaluate to true, and as well as we can define the code what has to be executed when the client script is returning false. Okay, so here is the example how it is displayed here. You can see execute if true, we have written a lines of code, and if it execute false, we have written some another line of code. Okay, so this is interesting, right? So let's move further and see what data you can see in a UI policy. So local variables declared in a script, predefined client-side global variables such as g underscore form, g underscore user, g underscore scratchpad, which will be used after display business rule. Okay, so I will show this demo of g underscore scratchpad when our demo for server side script completes. Okay, now let's see what is the difference between client script versus UI policies. So we can see here execute on form load. So client script and the UI policy both execute on form load. Okay, execute on form, save, submit, update. So this happens only in client script, not in UI policy. Okay, execute on form, field value change. So this happens both in client script and as well as in UI policy. Okay, have access to a field's prior value. So we are having like old value can be accessed using client script. Execute on list field value change. So this also happens only in client script, not in UI policy. Execute after client script. UI policy is definitely executed after client script. Require scripting. Yeah, in client script it requires scripting, but in UI policy we can use both, like scripting and as well as configuration change. Okay, so let's move further and see what is the UI policy best practice. Okay, so we can see here, use UI policies very less as possible to avoid long page load times. Okay, because UI policy is working when the form is loaded, so try to keep as low as UI policies on a single form. Okay, use the short description field to name the UI policy. Add the description field to the form to thoroughly document the UI policy. Set on load to false if you do not need to execute on page load. Apply conditions using the condition builder whenever it is possible. Okay, and comment your scripts. This is very necessary when we write any kind of script as part of UI policy. Okay, so this is all about UI policy. Thanks for hearing me out. Stay tuned for more videos. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel LearnIT.